Good morning. That was weak. I hope they didn't start that. Let's start that again. Good morning. Oh, God bless you all. And welcome to the 43rd CALLERLAB Convention in Norfolk, Virginia. Today is March 22nd, and this is the basic interrogation session. I'm your moderator for the hour, Barry Miller. I'll say more about myself in a second. And I hope you have a great time. Remember, this session is being recorded. So if you have anything to say when we get to those points, I'd like you to we'll have somebody run around with microphones and take care of you. But make sure when you get the microphone, you state who you are, where you're from, and then your question or your comment, if you would. Also, we're going to be videotaped, it looks like, as well. That's kind of scary. So anyway, I would like to introduce you to my task force up here. So if you'll all bear with us for a minute. You had a hat. What did you do with it? We had 4 hats. What happened to the other one? I can't see a thing with the glasses on. This is a specially assigned task force. I would like to introduce them one at a time. Well, I'm supposed to start on time. I'm supposed to finish on time. The next thing we have after this is lunch. We're not going to be late for lunch. Are you ready now, Cindy? Okay, I love you. All right. First, I'd like to introduce you to agent number 28, Guy Steele, from Lexington, Maryland. Oh, we didn't. Eric, you need to take his mugshots, would you please? Okay. I forgot to. Okay. Anyway, he's from Maryland. He's known for his great choreography, and really honored to have him here with us working today. And Eric finished the whole system with him. Then at that point, you don't really need to take pictures. This is fake, Eric. Okay. So if you would assume the position, Guy, pat him down. Eric, do your job there. Don't take a picture of this. Just pat him down, would you please? God, I need a script. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Agent number 31 will be Eric Henerlau from Moderator, California. He's been calling since 1980. He calls mainstream a basic through C1. He's currently serving on the Board of Governors, and he's the vice chairman of the Plus Committee. Our next agent is agent number 009. Her name is Susan Morris. Pictures, please. She's from Redmond, Washington, near Seattle. She's been calling since 1997. She calls Basic Through Plus, and she's the co-chair of Women in Calling. So if you'll assume the position and... My name is Barry Miller. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I've been calling since 1991. I call Basic Through Advanced. I'm the past chair of the Mainstream Committee. I have to read my own bio here. I'm currently serving on the Board of Governors, but I'm up for re-election. Not saying you should vote for me. I can't actively campaign, but if you're thinking about it, I would appreciate your vote. I can't do that, can I? I already did. Okay. And I average about 25 nights per month just in my own regional area. It's a great thing. So nice to have you here this morning. I'm glad you had your thoughts. We're going to try and keep a tight schedule today. We got 4 calls we would like to present to you. Here's what we've been charged with for this group. We have been, the panel will highlight 4 calls from the basic program and present teaching tips and creative ways to use the calls with both standard applications and extended but not extreme, Eric, and take a fresh look at how you might discover new ways to use this uniqueness of the calls on your home program. The calls we're looking at today are half sashay, wheel around, stars, and square through. I've asked Eric to start today, and he's going to start with wheel around. You have a microphone there you can use, or you may use that.
Good morning. Are we all doing well? Fantastic. So we're going to be talking about different calls this morning, as Bear mentioned here, and we're going to be looking at them in detail and some ideas, some choreographic examples of how we can use some of these basic calls. Like many of you, I'm a firm believer in the mainstream program. These are basic calls today, but the whole basic and mainstream program is a robust program, and in my opinion, very underutilized. I believe in the rush to plus that we put a lot of our dancers through, that we miss some of the finer nuances of mainstream that are really fun and really flow well and are just good nuggets out there that we just gloss over quickly and don't come back to. So I want to take a look at one of these calls, and the call is wheel around. You all have your handouts here? I'll wait till you get those done. No, wheel around. No, we're going to talk about that. All right. So in the call wheel around, does everybody know what the call wheel around is? Let me say the definition of the call wheel around. The call wheel around, of course, is a couple call, right? Where you and the person next to you are facing one direction as a couple, and you're going to end up turning around and facing the wall behind you, 180 degrees to face the wall behind you, using the handhold as a pivot point, right? So if I'm holding hands with somebody, Susan, you look like a good person. You are. 009, come on over here. So if we wheel around, we know that our handhold is a pivot point, correct? So simply, the left side dancer backs up, the right side dancer walks forward, we end up facing the wall behind us, and that's it. How hard can it be? Well, it's not about being hard, but how much can you do this call? I mean, how interesting can this call be? It's not about how hard, but how interesting can it be? So we're facing this way, and we do a wheel around. We're using our handhold as a pivot point. I'm going to wheel around. Okay? The corollary to that, of course, is reverse wheel around, which is the opposite direction. We're going to the right. So if we reverse wheel around, we're going this way. Now, since we do a wheel around, we're turning 180 degrees or halfway around to face the wall behind us. We could wheel around twice. That'd be kind of silly. We'd be right back where we were, right? But we could wheel around once and a half, right? We could wheel around once and a half. Kind of a nice way of doing things right there. In some cases, it could feel like a cast-off three-quarters, but in some cases, it's different. Okay? So if we can get a square up here, can we get a square of dancers to demonstrate a couple of things? Thank you. Skill, can we get like 5 more people?
That means eight people, please. Eight, not 3.
I'm not going to embarrass anybody. Don't worry. Everybody's worried about being embarrassed. Yeah, let's get all men up here. That's good. Yeah, that's great. Great. Element left with the corner. Coming back, promenade with a partner. Don't stop, don't slow down. Which, of course, the key words, which means promenade forever. There you go. Okay, head couples wheel around. Right. So in that particular case, for the wheel around, we know that the wheel around, it's okay, we're fine, you're fine. We know in the wheel around right there, you're going to end up facing the couple behind you because that's how we do this. And this is probably the way that 90% of us use the call wheel around, is to go from a promenade back into facing lines. Good. Star through, or whatever, square through 3. Allemande left for the corner. Promenade with a partner. Don't stop, don't slow down. Those are the key words there to keep going forever. All right. Side couples wheel around. And if you're lucky, they'll line up at the walls, and if you're not, they don't. It doesn't really matter. Eventually, you find out in 3 or 4 calls, they will line up at the walls, right? Good. So that's the way we usually use the call wheel around. That's usually what you hear in the call wheel around. That's fine. You get that because you get back into dancing from a promenade. You get back into some formations you can work with. It's usually used to resolve out-of-sequence errors, because you got to, okay, out of sequence, I wheel around, I can do something to get them back to the corner. Star through. Swing through. Boys run around a girl, bend the line, pass through. So where's it going with this? Okay. So oftentimes we'll hear the call wheel and deal from here, right? But we could also say wheel around. But I caution you, what would the dancers hear? They'll hear wheel and deal, right? But if you did a wheel around from here, it's perfectly valid. Go ahead, wheel around. And that worked because we talked about it long before they did it, so they knew what to expect. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Double pass through. Now, this one's going to have more success. If I ask the lead couple to wheel around from here, see where they're going with this thing? Lead couple, wheel around. And for the dancers to get this, because it takes a while for them to process this call, to think about wheel around, because they haven't done it in a long time, because maybe you don't use it a lot, I just tell them it's a courtesy turn, but they're holding hands. They're just simply holding hands. Same action as a courtesy turn, but they're holding hands. They're going to end up facing the wall behind them. Courtesy turn has more nuances about which wall you end up facing, but just you end up facing the wall behind you and you're holding hands. That's it. Pass through. Outside couple. I wouldn't say lead couple. I'm saying outside couple, wheel around. Great. So you have that. Centers pass through. Everybody star through. We've got lines looking in. This is common. Pass through. Maybe if you're you, I don't know. Wheel and deal. Centers wheel around. That's a good replacement for a square through 3. Now, it can be tight for those center two girls to make sure they don't bump shoulders with each other going by. But it's a good replacement for a square through 3, to an Allemande left or something like that. All right. Sorry? Okay. So, everybody see this so far? So how are ways we can use this, other ways to make it more interesting, or I think more interesting? Swing through. Boys run around a girl. I know this is a basic interrogation, but I'm going to use some mainstream calls, if that's okay. Tag the line. That's a mainstream call. Okay? Girls wheel around. See, I'm automatically had to connect up there. So what happened in that process is, after the tag the line, instead of saying, well, like do a cloverleaf or centers in or something like that, I've got something completely different out there. The girls had to identify themselves as a partner, then execute the call, wheel around out of there. Pass through. Good. Boys wheel around. Great. Girls pass through. Everybody touch a quarter. Boys trade. Everybody hinge. Extend. Boys wheel around. There you go. See how that works? Extend. Extend again. Boys wheel around. I'm sorry. Girls wheel around. Sorry. Why was I confused? I don't know. Extend. And hinge. And the girls trade. Great. Swing through. Okay, so there's a lot of possibility with a call wheel around. Girls do a U-turn back. Couples circulate. Who's the lead couple? All right, lead couple wheel around. Aha. So that's a teachable moment right there for your dancers, right? Who is the lead couple, right? Everybody pass through. Who is the lead couple here? Everybody is, right? So if I said lead couple wheel around, there you go. Lead couple wheel around. Yeah. Pass the ocean. Swing through. Girls turn back. Couples circulate. Who is the lead couple? Again, a great teachable moment about who lead couples are. Lead couple wheel around. All right. So it flows into this. Let me give you some ideas of a way to put this together that might flow even better. Pass the ocean. Swing through. Girls turn back. Couples circulate. If I have the boys trade in front of that, it'll flow right into it. Boys trade. Lead couple wheel around. You're not the lead couple. Just the lead couple. You were the lead couple, but it changes that quickly. Okay? So, pass the ocean again. So let me show you how that works again. Watch. Girls trade. Boys run. Boys trade. Lead couple wheel around. That's time. So you cover two birds with one stone here. Now I talk about wheel around. I talk about who the leaders are in this thing, right? Pass through with a wheel and deal. Now, double pass through. So we talked about wheel around. We talked about reel around, it's the left face turn and all that. If we reverse wheel around, we're going to the right, right? So lead couple reverse wheel around. Your dancers will get this wrong most of the time. So you have to teach them how to do that. And for a lot of cases, you say, well, what difference does it make? Either way, you end up facing the wall behind you, right? Pass through. Everybody reverse wheel around. Watch the shoulders there. It's a little tight. Good. So you get that wrong. I mean, they will get that wrong until they get trained on what reverse wheel around. The hints in teaching reverse calls, a lot of reverse calls like promenades and wheel arounds and other calls. R, reverse, R, right shoulder. Keep that in mind, okay? Right shoulder goes in. Star through. Great. Pass through. Wheel and deal. It's not extreme, is it, Bear? I want to make sure. It's not extreme. Am I being extreme? Okay, I want to make sure. Extreme. You told me not to be extreme. Not yet, okay. All right, so centers pass through. Slide through. You're all looking, I think you're a boy. I think you're a girl here. Yeah. Do a right or left through and wheel around. There you have lines looking out. It's kind of like a full turn courtesy turn, right? So you got to be careful if you do something like that you follow up with a call that's going to help with the body flow. If this is plus, I might call left chase. But I certainly wouldn't want to call something that reverses the body flow going the other way, right? So bend the line, okay? Star through. Touch a quarter. Good. Extend. Girls, you're your girls, right? Girls wheel around. Okay? And it has a nice flow to that. I could say girls courtesy turn as well. That would work. All the boys swing through. Again, I'm going to use some mainstream calls just to work this thing. All the boys recycle. Okay. Boys, everybody double pass through. And what do we call after a double pass through? I don't know, cloverleaf or centers in or something like that. Everybody wheel around. There you go. It can be tight. So you got to be careful in that. Okay. All the girls pass through again. So they are looking at somebody, right? Touch a quarter. Boys trade. Boys run. Good. Trying to think of the best way to set this up. Do a half tag. You can do that. And extend. That's mainstream, right? Good, good. All the girls wheel around. Once and a half. Boys swing through. Center boys run around the end boys. What do we have here? We have this kind of formation, which then begs the question, what can you do with this in mainstream? I can't give you a whole lot for that one, but all the girls do a partner trade. Boys wheel and deal. Girls can bend the line, and we have that. All right, so boys pass through. Star through. Promenade home, whatever takes you there. I don't care. Just make a squared set. Okay. Doesn't matter. Heads pass through. Heads wheel around. Ladies lead Dixie style. One call flows into the other. I could just as easily said heads right and left through, ladies lead Dixie style. But we do that anyway, right? So this gives you another way of looking at this thing. Center boys cross run. And the girl trade and, I don't know, hinge and the girl turn back. Are you home? Okay. Hey, ladies, stand across, whatever. Take it over there. There you go. All right, there. Thank you. All right. So there's an idea in that, too. So head couples pass through. Same ones wheel around and lead to the left. Look at that flow in that thing right there. So it's another thing you could do that. Again, a lot of places where wheel around and courtesy turn can be interchanged with each other, but the wheel around gives you that nice handhold to take you right into it without having to switch around the sides and all of that. Pass through. Outsides wheel around once and a half, while the center four pass the ocean. Great. Where are the girls in each wave? Girls in each wave trade. This might be a little more, you know, take some time to work with your dancers and something like that, right? All the boys run around the nearest girl. Great. Center four do a wheel and deal. The others do a hinge. Okay. Center four star through. The other boy run around a girl. And you have something to work with from that point, right? Good. Centers pass through. Swing through. Now, when does it matter on the wheel around and reverse wheel around which direction you turn? When does it ever matter? If you add the call roll to it. Now, that's a plus call. Roll is a plus call, of course, right? But I want to show you a couple things here. Boys run around a girl. Everybody do a half tag and extend. That would be a plus call. All right, so all the girls wheel around and roll. Boys swing through. And what do you have? Diamond circulate. There you have it. So again, I'm taking the call, the basic call, wheel around, showing you the basic program, mainstream program, and the plus program, how you can use this, right? Flip the diamond so we can get there. And all the girls, all the boys trade. Boys run around a girl. 3/4 tag the line. Okay. All the girls reverse wheel around and roll while the boys swing through. And what do you have here? Facing diamonds, right? Diamonds circulate. Good. Center four with the left hand cast off 3. Good. Boy run around a girl. Boy trade. Lead couple wheel around. We got lines looking in. There you go. So these are some of the ideas and some of the things I do with the call wheel around and reverse wheel around. I do this with my mainstream program, my basic program, and especially my plus program. I make sure I use a lot of wheel arounds from different formations. And I do the wheel around once and a half, wheel around with rolls on them, And it gives a nice kind of variety without being hard. It doesn't end up being too hard on the dancers. They get the idea that they're going to use a handhold as a pivot point. The left side dancer backs up. The right side dancer walks forward. Certainly we switch around. Well, we did switch around. We had same-sex couples and all of that. But it gives them one more tool of a call they already know. They should already know wheel around because it's part of the basic program. So this is saying we're going to use wheel around. We're going to use it and actually use the call to its potential, not just have it sit there and use it from a promenade just so I can get out because I couldn't find your corner the first time, right? Good. Pass through, wheel and deal, centers wheel around. There you are facing them. Star through. Everybody pass through, wheel around once and a half. Chain down the line. There you go. All right. So, does that give you some ideas of what to do with the call wheel around? Some ideas just to percolate in your head. Thank you all for the square coming up here. Appreciate that. Give them a hand. And now we turn it over to...
Actually, instead of waiting for the very end to have comments, I'm going to put a few minutes at the end of each one so that we can concentrate on a certain call instead of getting all the way there and then go back and look at a call we looked at. So if you have a comment or if you have a question about something and you would like to, please raise your hand. I'll try to get you in the order I see your hands. And then make sure you say who you are and where you're from.
Rich Delgado, the Trenton, New Jersey area. I will add a nice application of wheel around that I've used. Is if you have left hand waves, girls looking in, walk and dodge, wheel around, and then maybe you want to follow that with something with the girls going in like a flutter wheel.
I'd like to add one more thing to what he just said there. I forgot to show that example. Think of a normal setup where you do a touch, a quarter, walk and dodge, whatever that is for you. Say 8 chain through, touch, a quarter, walk and dodge. What do we call 90% of the time after that? Partner trade, right? What if you called reverse wheel around from there? The flow in that is just beautiful. Can you see that? Touch, a quarter, walk and dodge, reverse wheel around. And the person walking across will just pick up the hand of that person and will walk in that circle around and finish the reverse wheel around perfectly.
Mr. Mike Sikorsky.
Mesa, Arizona. When I use wheel around, my whole approach is to use it in a way where the dancers get excited about learning it properly. If I do the lines of 4 pass through wheel around, it looks more to me like an arm wrestling tug of war. And since we can't call roll afterwards at basic or mainstream, that's not what I would call incentive at basic. Now, incentive at basic, to me, is to not do it initially from promenade, don't stop, don't slow down, heads, wheel around. That's probably the last position I would teach it from. But if it's a line facing out early in the class, you teach them that wheel around is a left face turn as a couple. And then next week you teach flutter wheel. Now you've created a reason to turn the correct direction. Now they want to learn it because it feels better. So a little later in the class, now you don't even have to do the touch, a quarter, walk and dodge reverse wheel around because walk and dodge comes at mainstream. You can do like head square through 4, right and left through half sashay. And you can star through and have them face out and have them stand still for a second. So now we're going to learn reverse wheel around. Have them make sure the boy goes forward and take him into the reverse flutter that way. Now you got a reason. Now they've got a reason to learn reverse flutter.
Anybody else? If not, and then if I can get a square back up just real quick, I want to talk about something.
The reverse wheel around is Lee Copman, Long Island, New York. Well, on the, I don't know, I think a reverse wheel around is not a common call that you would normally use, but we do cast off 3/4, right? So why not, after the walk and dodge, why don't you do the walk and dodge, cast off 1/4 and boy fold or whatever? That might be comfortable to do. Yes or no? You're talking about something smooth to do after the walk and dodge?
So after the walk and dodge, could you cast off a quarter? Yes, you could do that. You
So
cast off.
something smooth might be walk and dodge, cast off a quarter.
Maybe, but you run into some issues there. If you have a normal 8-chain through and you do a touch a quarter, walk and dodge, and you cast off a quarter, one couple's going one way, one couple's going the other way. Okay.
If I get my square back up real quick, and then we'll have Susan go next on her stars. Just a couple of minor things as when I teach. What's that? Okay. All right. I need one more. So when I've taught wheel around, a couple of things I work with when I want to play with them and they've got it down pretty well is I will say something like heads, wheel around, and promenade halfway. And there's something that gives them some flow. Side couples, reverse wheel around, and wrong way promenade half. Come down the middle and lead to the left, veer to the right. Another minor thing that Eric was doing that you may not really understand is he was having the boys trade before he called one of those couples to wheel around. And you're thinking that body flow is taking that boy forward and then he's backing up. But with the timing to the call, watch how smooth this is. Boys trade, everybody wheel around. Because he has the body flow as he goes into that, and it's completely different. Every couple partner trade, let's look at that again. Boys trade. So this is where we were a second ago, so we just want to look at it again the same way. I'm going to have the boys trade. Watch their body flow. It's a wonderful thing, even though it seems like it should be the other way around. Because if these boys are going forward, then backing up, it should be bad body flow. But it's not. Boys trade. Everybody wheel around. Chain down the line. It's a nice little combination to play with at that point. Okay? But I'm just saying it sometimes you have to work out how the body flow actually feels out of it instead of what it says by the definition of it. Thank you very much. I just want to show that real quick. Give them square a big hand. And we're going to turn it over to our agent 009. Did y'all figure out why they got their numbers? That's the number of the call on the teaching list.
Oh, you're so clever, Bear.
Oh, did I miss? Oh, Hal Barnes. Now from Colorado.
I'm Hal Barnes from Rocky Ford, Colorado. A real nice wheel around that's a real nice quick opener. All four couples wheel around half sashay, Alaman left.
Ooh, I'm going to use that when I get home. All right. 009. Susan, we're going to talk about stars.
Stars. I love stars. Lots of people don't love stars. Can't tell you how many squares I've danced in. I hate stars. So let's get another square if we can, and we'll demonstrate some of these stars. So stars is kind of the, I don't know, it's not, I'd call it like a grandfather call that's been carried over from our traditional dancing. And it's one of the first things we do, a lot of us. How many of you teach it on the first night of class? Yep. It's a way to get dancers moving right away. Okay, one of the things that we don't do very often in modern Western square dancing is two-hand stars. We do it more in traditional dancing. Everybody, with your corner, make a right-hand star. It's a two-hand star, walk around each other, and then get back to place. Make your square. So you can do a right-hand star with your corner, left-hand star with your partner, whatever. So, first thing with stars, as soon as you touch hands and make the star, which we do in modern Western square dancing is palms up, you start walking forward. I have to say, I was at a plus dance not too long ago. I said, heads make a right-hand star. They all put their right hand in and stood there and looked at me, and I'm going, really? All right, so with your corner, make a left-hand star. With your partner, make a right-hand star. 4 boys go in and make a left-hand star. Boys make a right-hand star. To your corner, Alaman left. Four boys go in and make a right-hand star. Pick up your corner. Make it star promenade. I forgot. All right, back out, circle left. Ladies in, oh no, you're right. You're close to home. All right, perfect. When they don't have a lot of calls, head, step into the middle, make a right-hand star. Look for your corner, make a left-hand star, all four of you on the outside. A forehand star. Head, star right in the middle again. Back to your corner with an Alaman left. So you have a way to get the dancers moving and dancing with other dancers so they feel like they're dancing. Side, step into the middle, make a right-hand star. Make a left-hand star. To the outside two, basically to your corner. Do, sa, do. Back out at home. Forgot what I was going to say. All right. For girls, make a right-hand star. To your corner, do an Alaman left. Come back and square your sets. After they have a few more calls, there's a square dance singing call figure. Heads, square through 4. Make a right-hand star with the outside 2. Head, star left in the middle. To your corner, then you can do practically infinite number of endings. Do a right and left through. Star through. Pass through. Alaman left. Square your sets. The other thing we can do is start fractionalizing calls. Heads, square through 4. Make a right-hand star halfway as a couple veer left. Ferris wheel. Pass through. Alaman left. Come back and square your sets. Or heads square through 4. Make a right-hand star 3/4. 2 lines. Have a line now. Lines forward and back. Pass through. Bend your line. Let's see. We got somebody out. Okay. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Center square through 3. Just do an Alaman left and promenade. I think that's right. Perfect. Now, one thing that will challenge a lot of floors is heads. Make a left-hand star. To your corner, touch a quarter. Boys, run around the girls. California twirl. Right and left through. Star through. Heads face in. So you can use it to replace square through 4 a lot. Heads, make a left-hand star. To your corner, do, sa, do. Heads face in and you're home. We won't do a lot of additional choreography. The thing you need to be very careful with in using stars to replace things like square throughs is which hand the star needs to be, which hand you're going to use first in the next call. Because it's easy to get in the habit of saying right-hand stars and then you want to go, oh, now what I'm going to do with my left hand when you get to wherever you're going to be. Okay, a singing call figure with the fractionals heads, square through 4. Make a right-hand star, 3/4 to lines. Forward and back, just so they know, establish the line. Do a right and left through. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Zoom. Centers pass through. There's your corner. Do an Alaman left and promenade home. In a singing call, you'd swing and promenade. Okay. So you can, to extend it some is actually I'm going to take a step back to some of our traditional calls that are kind of fun to bring out once in a while. One is Star the Route. Yay. So on Star the Route, you need to walk through this because we don't always get the fractions right. So I want the head couples to step into the middle, make a right-hand star 3/4. So you're facing the couple on your, okay, you should be looking at an outside couple, make a left-hand star with them. Go full turn. When the heads meet in the middle, they make a right-hand star halfway to the other couple. Make a left-hand star with the outside 2. Full turn. Then the heads meet in the middle, make a right-hand star 3/4. And they should be back to home. Let's have the sides do that too. Okay. Sides. Step into the middle, make a right-hand star 3/4. The outside 2, make a left-hand star. All the way around. Right-hand star in the middle halfway. Left-hand star with the other 2. Full around. And a right-hand star 3/4. Back to home. So it's something different to add in with your basic class or at your mainstream dance just to see something different. I think so.
While we're on that real quick, just before we go away from there, a Star of the Route is really a cool thing, but you have to let them be successful. And sometimes when we're talking about 3/4 of a star and doing that kind of stuff, but when you're doing it, if you have the head couples be active and you tell the head lady to follow her guy wherever he goes, they'll tend to do that. And if you give them a directional call early enough, when they make that right-hand star, till you face that, I always tell them where they're going to go first. They're going to be over there with that right-hand couple to them. So they know where they're going, where their target is, and I tell them to follow them. And then there's not some of that little herky-jerky. Even the first time through, they'll follow it through better. Great job, Susan. Go ahead.
Did you have something, Eric?
No, I was just say the timing on the Star of the Route, I think, is around 32, right?
I think that's right.
Which means it's a good grand square substitution. If you want to do that instead, if you want to teach your group how to do it, you can, if you get tired of grand square, you can do a Star of the Route and you can sing your song.
So another good, something totally different is the old Trail of the Lonesome Pine figure. I've never actually been able to do it to the music, but I do it once in a while just with in the patter. So, no, that's fine. Okay, so head men take your corner and go forward and back. Just those 4. So it's on the diagonal, which makes it an interesting thing. Same 4, circle left. Same 4, make a left-hand star, back to home. Turn your partner with the right hand all the way around to your corner. Turn your corner left hand round. Do your partner. Swing your corner. And then promenade home. All right? Then all the ladies can go back home if you want. So that's something totally different because we don't do a lot of stuff on the diagonal. Or a lot of us don't do stuff on the diagonal very often. So one of the others that I love to do, just because I think it's fun, is the Texas Star. So the Texas Star is another classic figure that uses the stars, but it starts with girls to the center, back to the bar. So girls step into the center, back to back. Then you sort of do a modified, basically you're supposed to curtsy there, and then come back to your partner. Okay, yeah. Basically the way it works is this. Girls into the center, and then we sort of do a courtesy turn back to place. Star through, back to place. All right, girls to the center, back to the bar. Boys, back to home. Okay, girls to the center or boys to the center with a right hand star. Right hand. Boys with a left hand star. Pick up your corner with an arm around. Now, the command is hub backs out, the rim goes in, but we don't really know what that is anymore. So the boys are going to back out and the girls are going to go in, and you're going to star the other way. Star, star, star. Well, that's the debate. Okay, girls back out and the boys go in. Star promenade to home. Eric just asked. Okay, home. Boys home. Okay, Eric just asked if it was once or once and a half. Technically, it's once and a half. And I've tried it once and a half, and more experienced dancers have a hard time moving that fast.
It worked when we were all 30 years old, right?
I didn't want to say old dancers. But
I found it works real well. Everybody, Alaman left your corner. Come back up your partner, promenade. Hang on real tight to your partner at this point. Put your arm around her waist. She'll put her arm around yours. Hang on tight. Act as a unit. Boy back up. Girls swing in. Turn the star the other way again. Hang on real tight. Girls back up with a full turn and a half more. And the boys swing in with a left-hand star. And here we go again. Boys back out. You all join hands and circle right a step and you'll be back home. But I use that at a new dancer dance. I'll use that on a party night because if I tell them to hang on tight, they'll do it no matter what age they are. They'll hang on and it works out real timing. As long as I tell them to hang on tight, and I really emphasize that a turn and a half.
Yeah, I've had good experience with younger teenagers do it just fine. My 80-year-olds, maybe not so much. Okay. I think, yep, we're good.
Give Susan a big hand. I didn't do that for her, but give Susan a big hand.
Thank you, dancers.
Keep the square there just for a second for any comments, and then we'll get a new square back out. Any comments? Mr. Mike Sikorsky from Mesa, Arizona. By the way, where the CALLERLAB convention is next year.
Yes. Susan, you did a couple of things that I thought were just extremely correct and right. You developed that. And you didn't emphasize it. I would like to take the opportunity to do so because you slipped right by it. You did it right, went right by it. You said head square through 4, make a right-hand star, half, and as a couple, veer to the left. You have to get those words in there if you want success. You have to. The other one, even more critical, is you had done stars, and you put them in the same facing box, like heads, parallel face your corner. You put them in the same facing box and called star through. Okay? The mistake most callers make is they're making right-hand stars and left-hand stars, and then they get to that position, they say star through, and the dancers don't know which call to do at week 3. And they get confused, and that can cause dropouts. What you didn't say star through, you said star through. In other words, you put the emphasis on the second syllable a little harder.
Okay.
And extremely correct. That's the difference between success and failure of the square.
I was going to say the same thing when okay, thank the square at this point. Thank you very much. What star thing do I do? I think we're running tight. We'll do that at the end if we have time. The old Venus and Mars thing. So, but go ahead, square. Sit down for a second. Also, I was going to make the comment, and I just forgot. When Eric did his, when I'm playing with wheel around, I don't call wheel and deal that tip. Just because when the first word out of my mouth gets them thinking about wheeling around, I don't want them to have to think about which one I'm using at that point. So if I'm going to feature wheel and deal for a tip or a wheel round for a tip, I'm not going to call wheel and deal that tip just so I don't have that questioning moment in their heads. They'll question me later, but not then. Anyway, great job, Susan. All right. From Maryland. I've never got to work with this man, never knew him before, and he's sitting next to me and having a good time. He's known for his choreography type stuff. And here's Mr. Guy Steele.
Thank you, Barrett.
And Square Thru. Woohoo!
Is my mic on? My mic is on. This mic is on. Good. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit, and then we'll get a square up. Whenever I'm thinking about making a call different, the first thing I do is go and look at the definitions. And in the handout is the definition of square through. You don't need to look through it now, but it's worth noting that in the case of square through, there's actually already a lot of interesting hints in the comments section of the definition. Those are worth looking at. And they give such examples as square through on the fourth hand, left swing through. That's different. Square through on the third hand, touch a quarter. You know, there are things you can do like that. I've got a personal checklist of things that I do whenever I'm looking to make a call different. And among these are, can it be done left-handed? Do I want to do it left-handed? For each of these things, you have to then ask the question, is it the right level of difficulty for what I'm looking for? But yeah, square through can be done left-handed with a left square through. You could try doing it from a different formation or a different arrangement and decide whether that is the right level of difficulty for what you want. Does the call use a number or a fraction? If so, try using a different number or fraction. Square through takes a number, so consider square through 1, square through 5, square through 3.5. Sometimes overlooked is leave the call alone but lead up to it with an unusual call or come out of it with a different call. And that's sometimes a way of changing things up. Consider doing it twice. So for example, from a squared set, heads square through 4. Not everybody square through 4. And that kind of thing can lead some variety. Ask yourself the question, does the facing couples rule apply or does the ocean wave rule apply? And in fact, the ocean wave rule does apply to square through. And you can up the level of difficulty there. Do something like a swing through right into a square through. That's tough, but can be done. Does the CALLERLAB definition suggest extended applications or variants? As I said, that's the first thing I do. I don't know why it's number 9 on my checklist here. If it's usually called to just 4 dancers, for example, to start a sequence, consider calling it all 8 dancers and see if that changes things up. It's very common to say head square through 4, side square through 4, but having everybody square through 4 is a little less common. That's a tiny way to change things up. Try using it to set up an unexpected get out. An example I give is from 0 facing lines, left square through on the fourth hand, go wrong way grand. That's different. And you can also try modifying the dance action in some way. For example, by altering just one part of a multi-part call. That's at the end of my checklist. That's not usually appropriate at basic. It's bread and butter at challenge. And in between, you have to use your judgment. Do you want to just modify part of a call? Okay, a couple comments about teaching. I'm a product of the Tech Squares environment. I need to say that up front. So I look at things from a different angle. My mentors are Ted Lizotte and Bill Ackerman, who's here in the audience. I'm standing here nervously. Will Bill approve? I think he will. But Tech Squares is a club that does hard all-position plus. And I'm not here to tell you should turn all your dancers into all-position dancers. But there are a couple of techniques that can help them learn a call and get the definition right to begin with. And one of the things we do in Tech Squares, and we're not the only club, I know that a lot of clubs in Germany, for example, take this approach. When we're teaching square through, the first thing we do is get all the boys in the middle and have just the boys learn square through. And there are 2 reasons behind that. One is that without saying a word, the dancers immediately recognize this is a 4-dancer call, not an 8-dancer call. Secondly, without saying a word, they realize that it doesn't have boys' parts and girls' parts. It's not gender dependent. So we get the boys in the middle, and here's the drill. And in the handout, I've got sort of the precise wording that I use when I'm teaching this. And it's a very carefully devised routine. But roughly speaking, the drill is, okay, boys in the middle with the girls behind them. Boys square through 1. I've talked about the idea there's a magic number, and if I don't say the magic number, it's 4. And on the magic number, you walk straight through, and otherwise you're going to be facing in after you do it. So the drill is boys square through 1, you turn back. Boys square through 2, you turn back. Boys square through 3, you turn back. Boys square through 4. There's some reasons for this drill. One is we carefully use U-turn back rather than trade, so that dancers will alternate getting to face right and face left as they're doing the face in. And we talk about this. The definition is not keep turning to the right or keep turning to the left. The definition is after each after each pull by, whether it's right or left, face in. Then we get the boys out of there, have the girls come in, they do the same thing. After that, we go to normal couples. And they'll learn soon enough that 95, 98% of the time the boy is turning to the right and the girl's turning to the left. They haven't had burned in at the beginning the idea that there's a boy's part and a girl's part. And that little difference in the first 4 minutes of teaching makes all the difference in the world. That's something worth considering. The reason I bring this to you is not because I think that you're going to want to do all position dancing again with your dancers. But I think one of the interesting ways of using square through is to have all the boys do it in the middle or all the girls do it in the middle. One of my very favorite singing call figures is head square through 4, do-si-do, swing through, have the boys run, tag the line, clover leaf, girls square through 3 in the middle, find your corner, swing, and promenade. And just having the girls do it in the middle adds that extra spice. That's one of my favorites. Now that's mainstream. We can change it up to use it at basic and say head square through 4, do-si-do, swing through, and the boys run, couples trade. Then everybody face right, so they're facing in, girls square through 5, your corner, swing, and promenade. And that times out pretty well. Okay, could we get a square up here? What kind of a square do I have here? I prefer two people on each side of the square if possible. We're almost there. Okay, this is good. Thank you. Okay, well, there are 2 singing call figures that are very widely used. One is basic and one is mainstream. It seems like 95% of all singing call records have this on the vocal side. And square, I'm going to be doing 4 singing call figures, so when I call swing and promenade, just stay with your corner. I'll get you back home. Okay, the first one is heads promenade halfway. Come down the middle and square through 4. Audience, you can chant along with me if you want. With the outsides, do the right and left through. Veer left and Ferris wheel. Center square through 3. Yeah. Swing if you want to and promenade home. Stay with your corner. To the boys' home, please. Stay with your corner, go to the boys' home. This is the famous Ferris wheel figure. You all know this. Okay. Okay, next one. Okay. Head square through 4. Do-si-do. Swing through. Spin the top. And a right and left through. Square through 3 hands. Swing and promenade. And promenade home. Okay, don't do the long promenade. I have this trouble with challenge dancers. They never want to do the promenade. Okay, notice that each of those singing call figures, while I feature Ferris wheel or spin the top, also features square through in 2 different places. You know, this happens a lot. But they're often done in the middle, in particular square through 4 tends to get done in the middle. I like the next 2 figures because they have square through 4s where everybody's participating. So let's try this. Heads promenade halfway. Come down the middle, lead right, and do-si-do. Swing through. The boys run. Bend the line, and a right and left through. Square through 4 hands. And swing and promenade. And I like that one. The square through gets you to a slightly different place. And for this last one, I'm going to try to sing it. This one is from Rhythm Records 101, You Ring My Bell, and I'm going to do my very best to channel Wade Driver. Okay, ready? Side couples promenade, it's halfway you know. Square through and you get me, 4 hands you go. 4 hands around, you do the right and left through. Slide through and then you square through again. 4 hands, trade by and swing. Swing the corner, promenade the ring. You've gotten underneath my skin, I can tell. Promenade, oh, come on. You ring my bell. Okay, so, thank you. I want to draw attention to a very critical word that Wade put in there, which is you square through again when you use a call for the second time in a sequence. Sometimes the dancers will think they're hearing things or they misremembered something. Saying square through again really helps. Okay, I'd like to finish with a few bits of patter. that you square through in perhaps in interesting ways you might find useful. Okay, side square through. 4 hands. With head, square through 4 more. You bend that line, and a right and left through. 2 ladies chain. Pass through with the wheel and deal. Center square through 1, allemand left. And promenade. So 2 things going on there, the square through twice in a row and the square through 1, right into that allemand left. Head square through 2. Split the outside 2. Get around 1, hook on the ends, make a line. Up to the middle and back. Now box the net. Square through 4. Trade by and dive through. Center square through 2. Separate around 1, squeeze in, make a line. You got a line, box the net. Pass through with the wheel and deal. Boys left square through 3 hands. With the girls star through. Chain down the line. Star through. Dive through, center square through 3. Allemand left. And a right and left grand you go. Find your partner on the other side and promenade home. Short. Head square through 2 hands, just 2. And a right and left through. You'll dive through, center square through 3. Everyone left square through 3. You got the hand. Trade by. Star through. And a right and left through. You'll pass through. You turn back, square through 4. There's your partner, right and left grand. That was an example of using the call to go right into a get out. And promenade, yes. Okay, this one is mainstream. Heads past the ocean. Extend into a square through 4. Do a wheel and deal. Double pass through. First couple go left, the next go right. You got lines and a right and left through. Flutter wheel. Pass through and bend that line. Start with the left hand. Left square through 3.5. You'll have a wave. 3.5. You'll have a right hand wave. Recycle. Allemand left. And promenade. So thank you very much, Square. You did a great job. You can sit down.
And no, stay there. Stay there.
Okay,
stay
go
there.
ahead.
You got more that you want to do? I was going to keep them there for
I
the
just want to make
comments.
one more comment, which
Okay.
was that what I was doing there with that left square through 3.5 is finding a way to make a wave to get into recycle. Recycle is a fairly unusual thing to do after a square through, but there's a way to do it. So again, paying attention to how you lead into things, how you follow things up, can make the call itself have more pizzazz. I'm done. Thank you.
How about a big hand for Guy? Looking for comments, Mr. Mike Sikorsky. I was going to take your place, and it was wonderful. Mr. Lee Kottman.
If you want to do some other things with the square throughs, just a little bit, want me to show you? Have the head couples just step to the right a little bit, make a line of 4. Knock it off. And let's have the center 4 only box to that and back away. The end people only work around the outside and square through 3, while the centers work in the middle to square through 4. Get on the end. You should know better. You're on the end. You're on the end because you squared. Oh, you're good. That's good. The end 2, face your partner and pass through. So what we did was we had the ends work around the outside 3 while the others square through 4, which is pretty good. And you had a pretty nice set. Are you two guys boys? You look cute. Yeah. So the reason you had the ends go 3 and the 4 because they had a lot more to do. Did you see that, everybody? And another thing that's kind of neat to do is everybody wheel and deal here. And the centers pass through. And you can do this also. Everybody square through. The boys go 3 and the girls go 4. And boys, you can clover leaf. Yeah. While the others are finished. So you had some people doing one thing. Is cloverleaf on the mainstream list? Okay. So those are some other things that you might want to do also. See that? And everybody here, just to see that again, everybody square through. The boys go 3, the girls go 4. And while the boys are waiting, want the boys cloverleaf. Clover on the end. One more hand in the middle. 4 hands in the middle. 4 hands in the middle. Okay? Let me show you again. Everybody square through. The ends go 3. The centers go 4. So one more hand in the middle. Don't go across in the middle. That's good. Okay, now the center 4 do a partner trade. That's good. Now center 4 square through 2. So just using the square throughs where somebody go 3 and somebody go 4, you can do those as a variation too. Okay?
Square your sets back up. Anybody else before I jump in here a little bit? A couple things that we didn't look at that are getting to the extended part of it is like on the third hand stuff. Head square through and on your third hand, touch a quarter. That boy run around that girl. Everybody do the right and left through. Square through and on your third hand, step to a wave and swing through. Boy run around a girl. Do a Ferris wheel. Center square through on your third hand. Let's do a slide through, and you should be home, I think.
Yay.
Okay, but something else out of that I like to do on a stir is a little bit more radical. I'm just going to call it on the first time, then we'll show it if we need to. Side step in and face your corner. Everybody pass through, trade by, star through. So this is a setup on this. This is a right-hand lady line in sequence. Okay? And my goal is to put everybody back at home, so I've got the end couples exactly halfway across from where they want to be. Okay, so I'm just going to call this on the fly because these are great dancers. I'd have to build up to this over a whole tip, okay? Square through, and on your third hand, just the centers square through, and on this, and on their third hand, everybody square through, and on your third hand, ends box the nap. Everybody box the nap, my bad. And the ends swing. And you notice they're back at home. So that's just a little quick little. So
Farrah, I want to add something in here. And Guy touched on this very briefly, that the ocean wave rule applies for a square through. So heads past the ocean. Yeah, we all want to be heads. Extend. Okay, so we got waves, right? Good. All 8 circulate. So if you set the call up with all 8 circulate in front of it, it makes a square through easier. All 8 circulate. Square through 3. Trade by, Alaman left. Good. Get back home. That was easy because we set it up with an all 8 circular flowing right into it. Where you can take that same call and make it infinitely harder is this. Heads past the ocean. Extend. Swing through. Square through 3. That makes it infinitely harder. And you have to really train your dancers to be able to do something like that because they will have no idea what to do at that point. Thank you.
All right. Give the square a big hand. How about a big hand for Mr. Guy Steele? We're getting close to lunchtime, so I got to run through this real quick. I call this half sashay, and I love half sashays. Here's the Oz, come here for a minute, because I use a lot of humor with what I'm teaching, because I think if they're smiling, they're having a good time. So the first thing I tell them is, I got to teach you a call half sashay. Problem is we don't have a whole sashay to learn. So how's it going to make a half of one of what we got and don't have a whole one of? Well, we're going to do that anyway, because if I sent a whole sashay, I think. And I don't ever tell them I know, but I think it would have been a sideways do-si-do. with the right-hand dancer getting to go in front. So let's do a sideways do-si-do. And you just went in front. Now, there isn't that call. We don't have that call. I don't know why. Okay? And I play with them, and I use that. Then I say, but if we did half of that, that's our call. We're going to do a half sashay, and that right-hand dancer is going to go in front. And the left-hand dancer is going to actually step back and slide back into that position. So I play with that humor now, because it doesn't matter whether I'm a boy or girl. If I'm on the right-hand side, I'm the one going in front. So do another half sashay. And you know, it's at that point, it's been a simple thing, because we talked about it being a sideways do-si-do, and they can understand that. It's lunchtime, isn't it? I've seen glazed eyes, and it wasn't that complicated, okay? So if I can get a square up at this point, we'll do a couple simple things to play with, and then we'll get to more of the far end and some things I shouldn't go into. Yes, Corey. Sure, Corby.
While they're squaring up, Corby, guys from Pennsylvania. You be the girl for a second. Whenever I'm teaching in the high schools, in the handicapables, and even in my clubs with a half sashay, just because I'm very visual, I always say you're driving a car. This doesn't really work well if you're in Europe or for, and they get a big kick out of it. You're a woman driver, so she reaches across and grabs the wheel because I'm driving. Just something like that, and now you're driving, and I'm the shotgun. Take the wheel. Well, I want to take the wheel. I want to drive now. You have to go behind me, because imagine the seatbelts and stuff like that. It works a little smoother, but the kids always get a big kick out of it, and so do the dancers.
Thanks, Corby. So if I'm teaching this call, I'm going to go back to use it in a square, and a lot of times I'll use mini squares to teach. But once I get here, I'll say the heads do a half sashay. Heads only. Here, let me move over here so it's more clear. Heads pass through and do a half sashay and do a U-turn back. Sides, half sashay. Pass through, do a half sashay, and do a U-turn back. Heads pass through, sides pass through, everybody do a U-turn back, and they'll be back at home. But it just reemphasizes some of those parts of those calls of what they're doing at that point. Another way I'll do it then at that point is I'll go, there's more things there, but we'll cut it short. Heads do a right and left through, standard, a little easy get in, with a half sashay, and then star through. And that's an easy get in from a static square into your zero box 1-4. Okay? So that's a simple way to do that and be able to get there. Everybody star through. We're in lines, we're going to look at some geographic zeros. Okay? Everybody do a right and left through with a half sashay. Pass through. Girl run right. Boy run right. And you'll notice that's a geographic zero. They're right back to where they started from. Okay? Yes? Okay. Anybody need to see that again? Because we'll do it. Because this is the basic standard application to be able to use to get there. So let's take it a next step further a little bit. Let's do I got to remember what I wrote down. I got a sheet of my own. Good. I wrote this stuff. I should know it. Huh? Do a right and left through with a half sashay. Okay. Where was I on here? Pass through. I already did that one. U-turn back. Same difference as the other. Okay. Let's take it a little bit further. Do a right and left through. Turn the girl 1/4 more so the girls can connect and the girls trade. Everybody do a half sashay. Boys cross run. Bend the line. And once again, you've done a geographic zero. They're right back to where they were before. And this is, if you look at your sheet, this is on this stuff, so it's just a simple thing to do, just to have a visual on it. Let's go ahead and do some more on those. Everybody do a right and left through. Half sashay. That isn't what I wanted. Oh, that isn't what I wanted at all. Pass through. Girl run, boy run. Let's get out of that. Just because it's one of those things. All right. This time it's going to take two to be able to do it. Okay. Pass through. Wheel around. Half sashay. And do it again. Pass through. Who's the left-hand dancer now? Wheel around with a half sashay. and you're back to your geographic 0, and then you've been able to use that wheel around in combination with a half sachet. Okay? Let's get a little more fractions out of this. Everybody do a right and left through. Do a half sachet once and a half. May have to work that a little bit. So the boys be nose to nose, and the girls are scratching their backs. I'm hoping that I help them adjust to where I want them to be. Do a double pass through. Face right. Bend the line. And they're right back where they started from, okay? You can adapt that into a singing call. So let's take it a little bit further because I'm running out of time. Everybody do a right and left through. Half sachet once and a half. Boys do a do-si-do once and a half. Touch a quarter. Girls trade. Girls run. Bend the line. Go up and back. And then do a half sachet. Or if you want to start getting a little wild out there, it's not truly defined, let's do it this way. Do a right and left through. Half sachet once and a half. Boys do a do-si-do once and a half. Good. Touch a quarter. Girls trade. Girls run. Bend the line with a reverse half sachet. The left-hand dancer is going to go in front because that flow took them there, and they're going to just go ahead and do it. My last one is, let's go over the deep end a little bit. Star through. Okay, and this is something I can use in a singing call, and I've done it. So listen close. Do a do-si-do 3/4. Boys are going to be touching each other, boys with each other, sashay nose to nose past each other. Now, I was thinking that I could just cast off 3/4. That's what I would normally do, but I'm thinking now I'm on the basic list. Okay? You guys were heads to start with? That was like an hour ago, I realized. Your sides? Your heads? Okay, so instead of that, I'm going to say in-facers and out-facers. Okay? Just for grins, I'm going to tell the out-facers, okay, who are my out-facers, they're going to reverse bend the line twice and then bend the line once. And the in-facers are going to bend the line. No, undo that. And then reverse bend the line. And then bend the line twice. And it end up being what I want. But it's actually the other way around. So everybody star through. Let's do that again. Okay. So let's do a do-si-do 3/4. Boys with each other. Sashay nose to nose. Good. Those looking in. Okay. Reverse bend the line twice. Those facing out, bend the line once. No, reverse bend the line. My bad. Jeez, I can't even spit this out on my own when I'm thinking on the fly. And then bend the line twice, and we're all going to be facing in. Let's do it flow. Star through. Jeez. Do a do-si-do 3/4. Boys sashay nose to nose. Cast off 3/4. Reverse your flutter wheel. And it ends up being a 0 out of this thing. And then do a star through. Or the reverse of that thing is to everybody do a left shoulder do-si-do 3/4. Girls with each other will sashay nose to nose past each other. Cast off 3/4. Flutter wheel, the girls go in and get a boy, bring him back. Everybody at this point will do a star through, and you got that geographic 0, and it works cool on a singing call. Okay? Questions, comments, because we're going to have to do lunch, and I really like to have lunch. Obviously. Give her a square big hand. How about a nice round of applause for Mr. Guy Steele, Eric Henerlau, and Susan Morris. Thank you for coming out today. And don't forget, when you get your sheets back and you're going to fill out your little
and
critique things, please mark down that you love this session and you love the panelist. And don't forget, when the Board of Governors vote comes up, they're not recordings, to sneak that in, that I would love to be serving you again.